It is another episode of Say It Loud. Yup. And today I have Coffee with Kendra sitting in the hot seat with me. Introduce yourself to the people, Kendra.
Hi everyone, I'm Kendra. I'm the host of my little podcast, my
Don't
brand
say
new little
little. We
podcast.
got to speak it into fruition, my
No,
friend.
yeah, you're right. I'm in the host of Coffee with Kendra, and I just got started, and I'm excited.
Yay! So Kendra just started her podcast, and I invited her on to be a spotlight because she's like killing it already. And we're just gonna kind of like talk. So Kendra, you listen to Save Loud podcast.
I do, I do,
Do you have a favorite episode?
I
I always like
do.
to ask this question.
That's
I
a good
do. I
question,
want to hear.
actually. Yeah, right, right. You want to hear what the people you bring on think of the show, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Who Says I Love You First podcast was one of my favorites. And the reason why I like that one because I really got a gist of I like that you were raw. Like I felt like, okay, Karen, this is somebody I could hang with because she's saying exactly what it is that she feel with no filter and she don't care what nobody think about it. And it also like was an eye opener. Like, damn, yeah, that does make sense. Like just because I'm in love with you at this moment, that doesn't mean that you're in love with me because that's real life. We don't fall in love at the same time, at the same moment together. And how you said to respond to it, like, thank you. But it was
That's
so real because it's like, what else could you say?
because a lot of times what happens when people say I love you is like if I say I love you, then you're expecting somebody to say I love you back, right?
Hmm.
And we leave
Hmm.
ourselves in that vulnerable situation to expect that back. And then when we don't get it back, we feel a type of way, But the
Hmm.
reality is that two people are dating are not going to fall in love with each other exactly at the same moment, exactly at the same time. And they shouldn't be
Hmm.
obligated to feel like they have to respond the same way.
Hmm.
And in my
Hmm.
mind, when you tell somebody you love them, and I said it in the episode, you're just expressing how you feel.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
necessarily feel this. Like if I tell you my
Hmm.
feet hurt, that don't mean your feet hurt. You know,
Right.
so you can't
Right.
expect somebody at that same time, like, oh, I told him I loved him and he didn't tell me he
Yeah.
loved me back, but he
Yeah.
might not love you today. He might need
Yeah.
3 more weeks or 8 more weeks, or in some cases, some people holding on for 8 years. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you telling them that doesn't automatically mean that
You're
they
right.
owe
They don't
you
owe that.
to
Hmm.
come back and say, well, gee, I love you. It's kind of fucked up too, because like if somebody tell you love them, it's like, what do I say?
Right, right.
My mayonnaise on that,
For me as a woman, I'm always like, I don't say it. Even if I feel like I'm in love with him first, I won't say it. I'll wait for him to say it first. That way, when he says it, most likely I don't know if I can't even say I usually fall in love first, but if I did or if I ever did, I would wait for my man to tell me first before I even said it. That's just how I
okay. So
roll.
you
Like I'm
sandbagging.
not,
That's what you're
yeah,
doing. You
like
sandbagging it. You're like, I'm gonna hold my love you in my just in case shit don't
yeah.
work out. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I got
I
insurance.
can't I've never been able to just be like, you know what, regardless of how he feels right now, I'm gonna tell him how I feel. Like, yeah, that one little sentence we holding back over here.
Really? See, I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I will tell somebody I love them. Don't because I don't feel like that makes me like exceptionally vulnerable. Like I don't really care what you say back. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like I've gotten to
Mhm.
that point where I'm not telling you because I want you to say something back to me. I'm just telling you so you know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like so I don't feel like I have to hold it. Like if I'm in love with someone, I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna tell them too. Like don't say nothing back because I'd rather you just take it in and
Yeah.
be with it and understand it than you feel like you have to supplement that with
Yeah.
something. Like sometimes there just is nothing else. It just is what it
Yeah.
is, and
And it
that's that.
should be that way. Honestly, it really should be that way.
Yeah, so I tell everybody I love. I tell my friends I love them. I tell my kids, my grandkids. Like I tell everybody I love them because I just feel like that's how I feel. If you don't feel that way, you're
Yeah.
just fucked up. Like I don't know what to tell you, but and I don't have an expectation when I tell somebody I love them. Like I want them, I want you to love me back. Like I know you will or you won't, but
Yeah.
who cares? Like either way, I'm
Yeah.
just telling you,
Yeah.
and that's that. It doesn't. I don't know. I'd rather somebody just shut the fuck up though, than lie to me.
Yeah, and that's true as well. I'm damn sure don't want you telling me you love me and you don't. That's why I
Yeah,
damn
just
sure don't.
don't. Just say thank you. Say, do you want a drink? I don't know. You hungry? Like, change the
Mhm.
subject, but don't feel like you have to say something and then turn around and lie to me because that gonna piss me off. Like, just don't say that. But
Mhm.
who knows, right? I think different
Mhm.
people um say different things whenever I don't know. Anyhow,
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you today about dating
Mhm.
because I don't really date. Not I don't really date. I don't date. Because I just don't.
You're not
And I've been
ready.
talking to my I don't know if I'm ready or not. Like I just feel like there's so much fucking obligation with that bullshit. You know what I mean? It just like even before you go, it's just anxiety. Like, what am I gonna wear? What is he like this? What does he do for like, bro? It's just so high stakes stress for me
Yeah.
that I'm just like
Yeah.
I'm not. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I'm really not interested in doing that. And I think sometimes that high stress adds to people having expectations about someone they dating. Like
Yeah.
all these
Mhm.
friggin' rules, like when am I supposed to call you back? And he didn't call me and what he wear and da, da, da.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
just feel
Mhm.
like that's just a lot. It just sounds stressful in my head. That just sounds like a lot of work, emotional work. And I
It can be.
just, yeah, no, I would rather just meet someone and be like, oh, they really cool. They said, let's go get drinks. And then we just go get drinks. Like, I want very low stakes. I don't really want to
Uh-huh.
feel that sense of like over stress
Mhm.
about dating. But even still, if that was the case, we're in COVID now, Kendra. And the opportunities to meet people are not the same. Where we used to be able to go out and just meet someone, now we're all stuck in the house, and
Mhm.
everybody's you almost have to meet people
Yeah.
online
Yep.
because of COVID. So if you weren't an online dater before,
You won
now
now.
yeah, because how else are you going to meet people? We can't go anywhere. So how
Yeah.
else are you going to meet people now? So do you feel like online dating is worth it?
I feel like it's worth it. I look at online dating even before the pandemic as another another open door, because for me, even before the pandemic, I'm the type of person, I'm super boring. So I'll go to work, I'm gonna go to the gym, I might take a walk on the beach, and then that's it. Kids, you're in the house for the rest of the day. Who's going to meet me? How can you
Right.
meet me? So
Yeah.
for me, I always looked at it like another door open to meet someone. And then on top of that, I'm not really interested in meeting men in my city that I actually live in. Which, I said I'm in Los Angeles, but within Los Angeles, there's smaller cities. In the city that I actually live in, I'm not really like the type of men that are here. I was never interested in. So for me, it was always a benefit, but definitely it comes with its pros. That's for sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's
So you would
cons.
suggest that so how would you suggest someone look for a potential date online? Like do the apps matter? Do like what app you go to
Yeah,
make a difference?
yeah. And there's always going to be that one person that say, "Well, I met my husband on this one," but that's just like one out of a bunch. But I would
Right.
say for sure, POF, which it stands for Plenty of Fish. Have you heard of that one, Karen?
I have heard of that.
Yeah, that one is a no. Yeah, don't get on there.
Okay.
Don't get on
All right.
there. Don't get on there. Don't get on there.
Okay.
One for
That's the
one
hood.
is yeah, that's the hood. Yeah, there's
Okay.
like literally men that's in jail on there. I don't know how they doing it,
Really?
but they on there,
That's,
girl.
that's funny.
They on there. Really,
I don't know why
really.
that's funny, but it is.
They
Wow,
they
I didn't
on
know
there,
that.
and it's some women ready to be they girlfriend or wife from prison, so they're on there.
Really? Why would
Mhm.
somebody sign up for that?
You know what? I think it's desperateness, to be honest.
I mean, but there's got to be a lot better than being stuck inside somewhere.
Karen, do you watch Love After Lockup at all?
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Okay,
Uh,
okay. When you
no.
when you get a chance, check that out, and then
And they meet people, and they're locked up,
literally.
and then they meet people, and they like are courting somebody who's in jail.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't call that a courtship, but I mean, like, the men in jail and in prison obviously have, nothing but time on their hands, so they're able to like orchestrate the perfect sentences and lines and letters to you.
He wrote me a love letter. Well, he got
Yes.
shit else to do.
Yeah, exactly. They meet people on there, go to the prison, visit them, get married, and then come out, and it's a whole mess.
And
But
it's a no for me.
it's a no. Yeah, stay away from POF. Um,
Okay.
I've tried Match.com. I don't really too much care for Match.com because it's just, and I'm open to dating outside of my race, but it's just not enough blacks on there.
Okay.
And then the white men who are on there, they give creepy vibes. Like I don't never see like regular looking men on there. Like I see like creepy vibe white dudes on there. So I would
Okay.
say Match.com is, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that.
Okay.
I think Tinder is debatable because Tinder has a reputation for hookups. And
Right.
it can be quite a few men, I guess, and guys say it's women on there too that are only looking to hook up, but that's a gamble, which, in a way, all dating apps are gambles.
Right.
I think Hinge is actually a pretty good app. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
Mm-mm.
What's the other one? And I think Bumble is another one I would recommend.
Do you think the apps that you pay for yields better results, like better people, like more serious people? No, because I
No,
always
because yeah, I thought that too. But
I
like I said,
just
I
felt
learned the
like if
hard
they're
way.
paying for it, they ought to
They're
be really serious
serious,
and committed
right? And
about. Yeah.
and I think Hinge is, I mean, not Hinge, but I think Match.com is the only one that I've tried that was a paid application, and I didn't find that. I think the guys were serious. I just think the quality of men are on there that it was just not gonna work for me. That was the only problem. But I
Hmm.
would say the men on there are serious about meeting someone.
Hmm. See, this is all like, this is all new to me. I'm a real energy driven person. So I
Mhm.
feel like online, I haven't tried it because I feel like online, in my head, I feel like online kind of takes away that energy thing. Like I have mixed feelings. Part of me feels like this is the wave of the future and it opens you up to people outside of your comfort area, right? Because now
Yes.
you're meeting people that don't live where you live or do different things. So it kind of opens up your pool for you. So
Mhm.
I like that part of it. But then there's a part of it that feels like that whole chemistry part gets kind of taken away to some extent
It does.
because, you can meet someone and they not be your type on paper. You know what I mean? And they don't
Yeah.
have, but you have an energy and a chemistry between you, and you're like, wow, I never thought about this. Or vice versa. Someone checked
Mhm.
all of the boxes, and you're like,
Mhm.
no, I don't like him. But he
Yep.
had everything on the list that you asked for, and
Mhm.
it's like, nah, he's not funny like he thinks he is, or he's not this, or I'm not attracted to him. You
Yes.
know what I mean? So it's kind of
Yeah.
like I think it takes away that element of like chemistry between people because now it becomes more like a checklist. And then the apps that I have been on for about 45 minutes, I literally like went on and was like, no, I can't do this. For me, I felt like it was very just visual.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't want to put my picture up. I really did
Aw.
not want to put my picture up. I was like, first of all, I don't think my pictures are ugly. I know how to take a picture, but that's the problem. You know what I mean? I felt like if people see my pictures, the perception that they have of me is not going to get me necessarily the person I want. Like I'm finna put
Yeah.
my picture up there with my beat up Camry and two raggedy ass ponytails. You know what I'm saying? Like a go to. Like I got to weed out the bullshit, and you know, sometimes being too like sexy or too pretty or too whatever, now you're just getting all kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm not flattered like that by that like people would think. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
So
I get you. I feel the same exact way. I think especially for a woman, it's hard because if I put on a dress that's not necessarily overly sexy, but it can be, viewed as a sexy, now a man can be just looking at me as, not necessarily to be taken serious. Or,
right,
I can't post a picture of me in a bikini, even though if you're at the beach, you're going to see me in a bikini. But if I
right,
post it, then I'm attracting the wrong attention when I really just want a relationship, but I'm attracting the
Right.
wrong attention. And I think men, they have the opposite. They can post whatever and not necessarily have to
I
deal with a
mean,
woman
they
going
think
after
they can
them for
post
them.
whatever because we don't be wanting to see some of that shit either.
Oh
But
yeah, yes, yes, yes,
I was
girl,
looking at
yes.
some guy pictures on one of those apps. I was like, really? This is the best picture that you had of yourself? This is the best you could come up, restart and come again. Like, this is not going to
Right,
sell nobody
right.
nothing.
Yes,
Like,
right.
you got to step your selfie game up, sir.
Yes,
Like,
yes, yes. So
so,
that's it. It definitely is hard to in that aspect, but I also felt like then you also have to deal with people, and men do this as well, posting pictures of them when they were 5 to 10 years younger. So I'm attracted to you at 25, and then when I meet you, you're 35, and you
right.
don't have the same
You ain't
body.
had no gray
You
hair
don't
in the
look,
picture.
yeah, like, and for all that I could have been accepting of how you look now, but you've already sold me this person. So
Yeah.
when I meet you, it's a no. It's like that's not fair. So you have to
Yeah.
deal with that too, and you don't have to deal with that, obviously in person. I don't know, Karen, but I feel like men don't approach women as much as they used to in this era. What do you think?
Do I think men approach women?
Because
I don't
before the
know. I mean,
internet,
me
they had
personally,
to
I would
approach
say
you,
no.
right?
Huh?
Huh? I said before the internet phase, right? Men had to approach you in order to get
Mm-hmm.
a girl. They had to, but now they
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily have to do that.
I think they look for more subtle ways to try to talk to you without having to. They look more of a safe space, right? So I think somebody will rather slide in your DMs or write under your picture on Instagram or retweet a Twitter or something like that,
Exactly.
and kind of break the ice that way versus let me go on a dating app and shoot my shot.
Mhm.
I just think that
Mhm.
if they feel like they have a better idea of your personality, they're a little bit more comfortable having that conversation.
Mhm.
But I do think overall, yes, the courting between men and women is a lot different. You know what I mean? It's not even like, because it's like some people be hitting you up, even me, and I'm a whole grown ass woman, talk about when we gonna chill. Excuse me, sir. When we gonna chill? Like, I'm about to go home and take a bath and pour a glass of wine. Like I'm finna chill.
Right? I only chill with my kids. That's who I'm chilling with. Like, what do you? No,
Yeah, like when we gonna
we
chill?
never gonna chill. What are you talking about?
Sir, I am a whole grown ass woman. Are you
Okay.
gonna take me to dinner or not? Like, when we gonna chill? Nigga, I'm finna
Exactly.
pour this bottle of wine and go run about. I'm finna chill right now.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I feel like also we kind of have to set a standard as well. You know what I mean? And kind of have people rise to that occasion when they want to go out with you or when they want to date you. I think certain women get approached different ways than other women's, because it's almost like the way you carry yourself is the way a dude's gonna approach you, right? If
Yep.
he feel like,
Yeah.
yo, let's get together and let's go smoke or whatever, then that's how he gonna come at you. That's the type of dude you're
Mhm.
gonna pull. But if you're
Mhm.
like in a business suit and you're going to work every day and you're in a different kind of circle, then somebody sees you, they're going to take that information and they're going to approach
Yes.
you differently. You know what
Mhm.
I
That's
mean?
very true.
So
Mhm.
I feel like we have a lot. Sometimes people are like, oh, I don't meet anyone. People don't try to talk to me. It's just like, are you making yourself receptive? And then who are you around that you want to talk to?
That's a good point as well. That's a good point as well because the men who are still wanting to approach a woman in person, I think a lot of the times women are not invited to be approached. So if like I'm in the grocery store and I'm looking at my phone or I'm walking around with a bad attitude or my energy is just not that great, it's not inviting. Even if a guy finds me attractive, he's not gonna approach me.
Yeah, you're not
So
smiling. You're not smizing with
yeah,
your eyes. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just
You
like
have to
sometimes
give
women
off
are
that
like, nobody
energy.
tries to talk to me. But I'm all for empowering women too. Like, you notice, Kendra, like, why you gotta wait for somebody to shoot your shot?
Mhm.
I also,
Mhm.
and I know a lot of people are old school when it comes to it's like, no, guys should be the ones doing the courting. A lot of men are scared. And I don't think they're
Mhm.
scared like their testosterone doesn't work. It's just like, yo, I don't want to get my feelings hurt. I don't know what she's gonna
Yeah.
say. So I don't really know how to read her, like you said, her behavior. So a lot of times
Mhm.
I might not say too much if he put a feeler out and he's not getting anything back. And some women
Yes.
it be the same dude hanging out with you, bringing coffee to you for 3 years at work, and he's scared to ask you out. Boy, if you don't just say to this boy, let's go out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have to be, as a woman, I feel like, yes, we should be feminine by all means, because that's the nature of who we are. But I feel like there's certain situations, like, you know damn well that man been sniffing around and want to go out with you. You know
Well,
what I mean?
yeah, and I feel like we don't have to do it in that way. Like we don't have to. I feel like as a woman, just being inviting, like kind of just letting him know, like, yes, I'm interested too.
Yeah,
Like,
like, you
like the
know
coffee guy,
damn
like,
well
oh, you know what? We should go get a bagel with the coffee next time.
exactly.
And it's not like I didn't shoot my shot, but I opened the door to let him know. Look,
Yeah,
I would like
you
to
know,
meet
I'm
you.
going to the gym on Friday. You want to come with me? We could go out for
Right?
lunch after.
Exactly.
Like, you know, I
Exactly.
think there's a lot of women too. Like, you're waiting for some, you know, they're waiting for some big, like, aha moment. Like, yo,
Yep.
sis, you know damn well what this dude trying to do. You know
Mhm.
if you're interested or not. Go
Mhm.
ahead and, like, shoot your shot, give your entry,
Mhm.
open the door, or shut that shit down and just be like,
Yep.
no, it's never gonna happen. And that's that. Leave that poor man alone. You
Mhm.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
um so would you give advice to anyone to date someone younger or older?
I think for women, I personally, I like to date a man that's a little older than me. But I don't like. I'm not against dating men that are my age either. But I do like a man that's a little older. Now a little younger, depending on your age. Like
Oh no, sis, I'm about to get this little younger on. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It
I'm
depends. It
about to
depends
buy me
on.
a whole cougar outfit.
Yeah.
It'll be me and somebody's son.
Yes, literally,
Yo,
huh?
I think sometimes I forget how old I am, and then when I see a guy that's like older, I be like, "Oh, he cute, but he old," and then I have to be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, damn, we the same, we the same." And I'm like,
Yes. I'm not really into it.
you know that meme where they be like, I could date you or your daddy. That's kind of like me
Yeah,
right
yeah. I
now.
mean, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, I think people, if that's what you're into and it works for you, then then it works.
Yeah,
Like I said, it depends on the person and what you know. Because some with older women like that play, and the vice versa for me and you, like that playful, youthful type of energy that somebody
yeah,
younger could bring, and then some people like that a little bit of an older energy, but a little bit more mature, a little bit.
yeah.
So I think it definitely depends on you,
I don't
the
know. I be,
person.
I be, you know, I be forgetting how old I am. I really do. I be like, man, he the same age as my daughter, but I'm saying, you know, like, I ain't gonna marry him
Right,
again, but you know,
right. I
might be
mean,
might be nice to look at, you know. I don't know.
yeah.
Um, I, I don't really. I kind of think I'm not opposed to age differences. It just depends how much of a difference.
Yeah. Mhm.
You know, because I do think that there's a point where it's just like, all right, that might be too many years gap.
Mhm.
But then there's people that like get along really well in that situation. So who knows? You know what I mean? Like
For
10 years apart. I'm like, I don't want to date someone 10 years older than me
I
or 10
mean,
years younger.
yeah. Yeah, like I get it. If I were to date a man that was a little too older than me, like I actually think it's a little different for when you have an older man and an older woman. But it is gonna come down to, like, if I have a man that's 15 years older than me, and he doesn't necessarily take the best care of himself, I might end up having to be a caretaker at some point, like,
I
or
don't
vice
know. You said
versa,
15
if
years
that's
older.
something
I'm
that.
like, or he might just be rich and you know, we're going to sit this one out.
Well, yeah, if he rich, then yeah, I mean, he can pay for somebody to take care of him and me, so that's a different
Yeah,
dynamic.
yeah, that changes the stakes a little
Oh
something when
yeah,
you're
it
like, oh,
definitely
okay.
does. I'm into it.
They have actually websites for that. That's part of the apps too, like the sugar baby.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not trying to be like a sugar baby, but if I end up with an older guy that is well off, then we're down for that. We're down for that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why someone would call themselves that and opt to do that from a man
Hmm.
perspective. Like, why are you signing up for that? So you know she's
Right.
using it for your money.
You
Like you're
you don't
even
have
if
no
you know
worth.
that people just using it for your money, why are you just selling yourself for your money?
Right, right. Right.
Something not right for me. But
Yeah.
there are people that take advantage of that, and you know, I guess that's a thing. I don't know.
I feel like that's a job, That's not like that's not really a relationship. That's a job. Like you coming through to hang out with him, do whatever favors that it is that he likes you to do. You get paid on Friday and you'll be back on Monday, Like
Sound
I
like a
don't consider.
prostitute to me.
Huh?
Just sound like a prostitute to me.
Yes, it's a prostitute. It's a
It's
prostitute,
arrangement.
right?
It's an
It's
arrangement. Yeah.
exactly. It's a prostitute. It's a variation of a prostitute.
Yeah, because you're getting paid to be taken care of to do whatever it is
Mhm.
that the person wants you to do. That's crazy.
Mhm.
That's crazy that
Mhm.
they even sell themselves like that, though. Like,
Right. Right. Because
if I
I
was
don't
rich,
know.
I wouldn't be like, "Oh, come and hang out with me. I'll pay you $5,000 to come hang out with me." Like,
Right.
how rich I am. That's not what we're doing here.
Right. I think those men don't. I think those men don't feel like they have any other value aside from their money. Otherwise, I don't think that a person in that position would do that. Right.
I don't know. I feel like people with that amount of money, people are attracted to them anyway.
Yeah.
Like you can't tell me, even the celebrities that we see on and all the situations that they get caught up in, especially the male celebrities more than the female.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the break babies and the accident babies and the groupies. You
The
can't
break babies. Yes.
break babies. You can't tell me that people aren't throwing themselves at you just for who you are and the clout to be with you. So why do you need
Mhm.
to pay someone? Some of that they don't, you know what I mean? Like they don't need to do that.
Right.
You have a
Right.
certain amount of money, like people just start gravitating towards you anyway.
Right. And that's something I honestly don't really like. So like I'm not saying I wouldn't date a celebrity, but like it's not like my ideal thing because I don't really want to have to deal with a man that's constantly having women throwing themselves at him because he has money.
Yeah. Yeah. And it be getting to the guys' heads too, because they know that.
It
So
does.
they also know the value of who they are too. It holds a lot of women in a lot of
Yeah.
relationships as well, because there's a lot of those women in those situations with those celebrities that won't leave, knowing damn
Mhm.
well like this is not cool.
Like you don't even see him. You see your man like twice a month. Like you like you really
You straight
lonely.
are like, dude, straight don't be coming home. Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
and
He not even
there's a
coming
lot of
home.
women that deal with that and put up with it because
Or be cheating.
yeah, like come on, like he on the road all the time, like you know what it is. But their lifestyle, they don't want to give up their lifestyle. They don't want to give up their
Mhm.
clout. They don't want to give up all
Yep.
that stuff. So they kind of like they put up with it, and it
Exactly.
is what it is, I guess. I don't know. I wonder though, if the tables was turned and it was a woman with the clout and the power, would do Stedman be out there tricking is my question. You know what I mean? Like Oprah the one running shit. Would a man tolerate that if the tables was turned?
I don't think so. And I think men don't value a woman that has, I mean, not then they devalue her, but I think a woman with a lot of money, I don't think that type of woman is sought after men. Like, a woman that has a lot of
Right,
money, I don't
right,
think men like are after her like, oh, she got a lot of money.
right.
Women don't really have to deal with
Which is
that
crazy. So the
issue.
women become more intimidating as they move further up. That's
Yeah.
just this way we saying it. The women become more intimidating as they move further up, but the men become more of like there's more groupies
Like
as
more
the
of a
higher.
catch, right?
Yeah,
They become more value as a man. So like that's that whole high value man, because he's at a certain criteria of money. He's more attractive. He has more options for women, but men don't look at women like that.
that's
Like you can
crazy.
be sitting on millions, and a man is not going to be like, oh, I gotta get with her because
Yeah,
she a
you're not going to the
millionaire,
club and people throwing themselves at you.
Yeah, it's like you're not doing that.
But the dudes get that. This is true. This is
They
very true. I
do.
wonder, we need to find a celebrity to come on the show and ask, like, how do they find people to date then? Like real
Yeah,
legitimate people, not like,
yeah.
I think that's why some celebrities too are like, you know what, I want to date like a regular down to earth person and have a
Mhm.
normal life. Because if they date another
Mhm.
celebrity, then it just becomes that same kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
redundant. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That
All
is
right.
interesting.
So people are meeting online, but where else are people meeting right now? Is that it? It's just that we're doing different apps. They're not.
During the pandemic, shit, I don't know if the parking lot at the grocery store or the grocery store. I mean, you can still go to the grocery store, so then maybe
I
that was a
don't
good
meet
place.
nobody in the grocery store. We can't go to
I've
the
never met
bars.
a
Maybe
guy at the
when we
grocery
could.
store.
I never
Yeah,
met a guy at
I,
the
I
grocery
think
store.
we really are reduced down to that because everything that you go, even when you pick up food, it's a quick transaction. You kind of pulling up, getting your food, and you gone. So like, I think we are limited right now to online dating.
All right. So if you go on an online date and it doesn't work out while you're on the date, how do
Hmm.
you leave?
How do I leave? Well,
Yeah.
one thing is I like to, if I'm not sure about the guy, I like to do quick dates like coffee. You know, we can go, because it's only
Mm,
gonna take me so long to have a sip of coffee and be done with you. But then if I like you, then if we can go for a walk, we can, make it last a little longer. So I would do that first. But if we are at a date and, it's not necessarily a coffee date and it's gonna take a little bit longer, um, I ain't gonna lie, I will use my kids as an emergency. I'll be like, oh my God, my parents didn't pick Kendra. I gotta go. I am so sorry, and he can't be mad because it's my kids.
right.
Um,
Right.
and I would definitely make up an emergency situation. Yeah, whether even if you don't have kids, maybe your friend, somebody emergency situation needs you to be, whatever, just make some
Yeah.
shit up. I would definitely do an emergency. Unless you piss me off and I don't like you. Because one dude, I was like, I'm about to leave. hmm And I just got up and left.
Oh, I like that. Like drops his mic and walks out. I like I love it. Now I don't like drama, but I just feel like because here's the thing too, like I don't like bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be like, oh well, like I'm just gonna call you I'm gonna text you. I'm not
Yeah.
even gonna call you. Fuck a phone call because I don't like the phone. I'm gonna just text you and be like, you know what, this isn't for me.
Yeah,
You
like I
know?
think if you haven't been like dating that person for a while, maybe a few months, it's perfectly fine to send out a text like after 1 or 2 dates. After the first date, I'll tell a guy so he don't reach out again, So this after the date, look, hey, I think you're a great guy, but like I don't think I don't think there was a connection there.
Right.
Thanks for dinner or lunch, and I wish you the best on your search. So he don't reach out to me again because I'm not about to be dodging your text. Like I'm just not gonna do that.
Yeah.
And honestly, I want someone to do me like that. So don't have me like reaching out or thinking that we, got a connection and I like you and it's only one sided. Like let me know, look, Kendra, I like you, but I mean I thought you were cool, but like this ain't for me. Like
Yeah.
people do not do that enough.
Yeah, see that's the thing for me. I'm not with the bullshit, so I'm not with leading you on and you leading
See,
me
you
on.
feel me. Exactly.
It's
You
like,
feeling
just
me.
yeah, just let me know what it is or what
Just
it
say
ain't,
it. Yeah.
and I probably felt the same way. And let's just do that because
Exactly. We might be saving each other
yeah,
sometimes.
we're not about to go for 5 dates and we don't like each other.
Right.
Do you think like women try really hard to like someone?
I
Do you think
think
like women date
so.
someone and they're like, nah, I'm gonna really try to like him. I'm gonna really try to make this work.
Yes, yes, I definitely think so, especially if he checks off that resume box, because I call that a resume box, right? Because we have a checklist, right, of things that we want to have that are all surface level, especially for women sometimes, right? He got a nice job, he got a house, he makes a certain amount of money, he don't have kids, out on the outside looking in, that resume looks great, But then let's say you get with a guy and you guys go out on a date, but there's no chemistry. A conversation is dry. There's no connection. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't get butterflies when you looked at him. Like there was nothing there. But I think a woman a lot of the times will force that. Like, let me just, let's go out again. Let me see, well, he is nice, but
Yeah.
but it's not enough. So I think a lot of women, they do that. They do try to like force the relationship and the connection, and in reality you can't, and it's usually because the guy checks off these boxes, so and he's a nice guy and you think, well, I should be with him. No, you
Right.
shouldn't. Like it's just not
Yeah.
enough.
No, definitely understand. I know a lot of nice guys. I've actually met a lot of nice guys,
Right.
and they're mad cool
Right.
people. They are. It's just not my person.
Yeah,
And I think it's
exactly.
okay for women to be like, I met a nice guy. He's mad cool
Mhm.
people. I will hook him up with one of my friends. He's just not the guy that I'm looking
Yep.
for.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And be
Exactly.
able to just be honest about it, opposed to let me try to change this man into the guy that
Right.
I need him to be.
Yes. Yes.
I think
And
that's what we need to understand. Like, yo,
yeah.
you can meet a guy and he's great. He's just not your guy.
For
You
you,
know,
yeah, just because he's a great guy and he's a great catch, that doesn't
yeah,
mean that's your
not your
person.
guy. He's somebody
Yeah.
else's guy,
He's
but he's a
for
he's good
somebody else.
people. Yeah, and we
Mhm.
need to be able to do that. And I think a lot of times women are just like, no, well, I don't like this, but I'll try to change that, or I'll fix this, or I'll, keep going here because he's got all these other attributes. And the whole time it's just like, you don't really like this cat.
Right.
You're
Right.
not that you don't like him as a person, just like this is not a love inch. You're not gonna fall in love with this.
Right. He not giving you tingly feelings, like you're not
Yeah, there's
excited
no
when he
butterflies
called,
in your
like, you
bosom.
know.
Like it's just like not happening, and that's okay.
Um, yes, exactly.
Just be
It's
honest
okay.
about it and let that man know, so that you can find the person that does do that for you. And I
Exactly.
think sometimes we don't give ourselves enough grace, and because we want to, like, this is the one, this is the one, this is the one, like, bro, like, not every, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to
Yeah.
kiss a few frogs
No,
first.
yeah,
um
I'm not doing that. I'm not about to force no man to be the one. If so, I could have
right,
done that a long time ago and got married if I was just gonna force a man to be the one. Like I either
right.
want the real thing, I don't want nothing at all. Um, I did have one guy. We went out. We met on a dating app and then we went out and he was cool, but like I was nothing there for me, nothing.
Mhm.
Um, he was even very attractive, but it was just nothing for me. It was just like, wow, like I'd rather be at home with my kids. I reference that a lot because I don't like to take time away from my kids. So I'd rather
Understandable.
be watching a movie with my kids or they can be running around fighting. Like that's more of energy. Like I'd rather spend time doing that than to spend time with you
Right.
and there ain't nothing here or whatever. So anyways, we go out and then when I get home, he's like, "Oh my God, you were great! Like I really liked you. Can't wait to see you again." No, in fact, he was like, "When can I see you again?" And I was just like, "Well, I didn't really think we had a connection. Like I didn't see, like I didn't. There was no chemistry. Even on your end, I didn't feel like there was like chemistry." And he was like, "No, like I'm really into you. Like when I see you again." I was like, "Well, I don't think we need to see each other again because I don't." I'm
It's
not
not
feeling
funny,
it.
but I don't think we really need to see each other
Yeah,
again.
because I was literally asking him like, well, if I even if you do feel that way, I didn't feel that way, so why are we
Right.
gonna go out again? But he was like, just let like let's just go out again and see, and I'm just like, does it take 2 or 3 dates to see if there is a connection or chemistry? I don't know. I think that's debatable, right? Um, I think for me, I was just like, no, no. So I was like, no, no. But this man would hit me up literally. I told him the truth, but he would hit me up at least like once a week and be like, can we go out again? Well, let's just get
Mhm.
coffee. And I felt so bad. I almost went out with him again, but then I was like, look, I really hope you find your person, but it's not me.
But I'm glad that you were honest with him to be able to say that, and I think that's fair. I really do think it's
Hmm.
fair to just be honest with what you're feeling. Like, if you're not feeling it, I'm not feeling. Remember, your relationship is not a hostage situation. You're not stuck. So if you don't want to be with that person, you don't have to be with them. I
Hmm.
do have a question though. When you're dating, um, what's up with the kids? Like, at what
Hmm.
point do
That's a good
we
question.
introduce our kids? Do we talk about kids? Like, how do I navigate that situation?
Hmm. Hmm. So for me, I do have two older kids. I have a 14 and a 13-year-old. And in my ideal, because I say my ideal, because you never know who you actually gonna like fit with, I would prefer not to have another kid. It's just me starting over. I'm 34. I got teenagers. Do I really want to have a little baby on my hip right now? Not really. Not really.
So you're not dating. So what if you met someone and they wanted to have children?
Right. So I do ask that. If they already have kids, I'm not giving them no kids anyway. Period. You already have
Right.
kids, so
You
you ain't missing
your
nothing.
quota. Right.
Yes, it's a no for me. But if they don't have kids, I do ask them. That's one of the questions because I have a few questions that I'll go over before I'll even give you a FaceTime call. And one of the questions is, do you want kids? And if they are like really serious about wanting kids, or they want kids, I'm open to that if I shall fall in love and get married and the guy that I'm with doesn't have a kid, I'll bust one out for him. I'm open to that. But
That's very
ideally I
nice.
don't want any. So I think if you don't want to have kids, it's important to have that conversation from jump. What's your favorite color? That shit don't matter. Like, do you want kids? Like, do you want kids? Like, what are your intentions here? Like, I think there's a series of questions that I know I use before we even FaceTime each other. So I think that's an important question to have, because somebody could not want kids but be open to it, and somebody could not want kids and be 100% stern. This
Oh,
is
I
not
can't have
happening for
any more
me.
kids. My tubes are tied. I can't.
So
I don't. You can want all the kids you want with me. We're not like
yeah, yeah.
I'm not
So
the woman for you. I'm sorry. Like I'm a whole somebody grandma. So like,
yeah, yeah. So it's
can my
important
body
to
make
have.
babies? Yes. Do I want to make a baby? Like, bro, we are not putting a car seat in my car. Not
That's
gonna
what I'm
happen.
saying. That's
We're
what
not
I'm
doing it.
saying. Like, I'm not trying to be
I don't
parking
understand.
and pulling out the car seat and the
I took
stroller.
out
Like,
my
I'm not trying to do that
granddaughter
again.
one day. I babysat and I had her here all day. If I didn't have my son with me, I probably would have left either the baby, the car seat, or something somewhere, because I was like so all over the place, because I'm just not in that space in my life,
Mhm.
and I want to
Mhm.
just enjoy someone. So for me, it's you got to come with your own kids. Like it got to
Yeah.
be the Black Brady Bunch type shit. However, the reason I asked if the kids are a factor, because for me, kids are a factor. I have
They
no
are.
objection to dating someone with a child or children. But you see, if your kid is under a certain age, I'm not the stepmama for
That's
you.
me too, Karen. That's me
'Cause I'm not
too.
finna go to Chuck E. Cheese. I'm not finna put a car seat in my car. I'm not finna hang out with you on Saturday when you have visitation. I'm not finna play
Mhm.
with your baby mama. I'm not finna have bottles anywhere around me unless they from my grandkids. Like I'm not doing that with you. So if your baby is under a certain age,
Yeah.
I don't know what that number is, but I
I
don't.
usually say 5. I usually say under
Yeah,
5
like
is
you
a
got a 6-month-old baby, you don't have me. That's how that works. Because
exactly.
I don't want to be in that space in my
And I
life.
question the relationship too of the baby
Oh yeah,
mama,
because
which is
they're not together. Because he broke up with her in his mind, but she don't know that.
right.
They still smell like breast milk. Like, no, sir. You need to go over there and
Yes.
handle that. That woman ain't over
Yes.
that shit yet.
Yes.
Don't be
I
bringing that kind of fuckery
ideally,
in my
yeah.
life. I
Mhm.
don't need that. I don't need that. So I do
Mhm.
think, I do think kids are important, and there's something that people should talk about.
Yeah.
But I'm more concerned to like, what about the older kids? Like, when do you say, okay, someone should meet my children or
Mhm.
someone should meet my child? Like,
Mhm.
how long into dating or whatever do we talk about that?
I think I don't put a time frame on it myself. Um, Even though I think they only met like one of my boyfriends, and that's because we got a place together. Um, but I wouldn't put a time frame on it. I think as a mother and as a father, you should be able to be a good judge of character. And if you're not a good judge of character, meaning that you are constantly in relationships like every one after another, then you need to put some type of time limit on bringing the kids into your your man or spouse into your kid relationship. Um, but I wouldn't put a time on it. I just don't feel like you put a time on it. But for me, I'm just gonna be honest. I take my sweet ass time. I
Well,
do, and I just be like, cause I be seeing like a lot of women and sometimes the men too, like they want to be hurry up and be like, oh, this is my new boyfriend, and then assign him stepfather roles that he barely is getting
right,
to know you. You know what I'm saying?
right,
and
right.
and, and it so they I'm real sensitive about that situation, but I think it ultimately is up to your judge of character. Like I said, if you have
Mhm.
bad judge of character, then get yourself at least 90 to 60 days before you think about that.
Yeah, for me, I'm like I'm really 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 overprotective about my kids and my personal
Hmm.
space,
Yeah.
and I really think I would say girls or boys, like they're so impressionable that I feel like if like for me, I would wait for the last. Like I gotta know like this is really serious. Like this is
That's what I'm
serious. We're gonna
saying.
be together. this is a committed relationship. Like, you're gonna be my man, I'm gonna be your wife. Like, we're getting there, and then I will introduce you.
That's a good point though. Like if you guys are not in a relationship, then it should be a no. Like if you just
Because if we
dating
just
this
fucking
person, it should
around,
be a
and
no.
I can't have, 4 or 5 different men coming in and out of my life, and my son sitting around or my daughter sitting around watching that. Like, that's not okay with me. So I
No.
have to know that, like, this relationship is going to be something where you're going to be around. Not to say that you got to be a stepdad. My kid's got a dad. But that you're going to be a constant around, so that they need to know who you are. Because if they don't need to know who you are and you're not going to be around, then there ain't no reason for me to like
Right. Right.
engage you into what we're doing here. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think, like you said, I don't think there's a time frame. I think it's more of like, where is this going? If we
Yep.
just hanging out and having a good time, then you don't need to meet my kids. We could just hang out
Yeah.
without.
Yeah, and I
You
think
know?
yes. And I think I don't know that men do this as much as women, but I think that has a huge effect on how the kid grows up. Like for example, if a little girl, like if my daughter see me with a new boyfriend that I've brought, I can have a bunch of new boyfriends, but my daughter wouldn't know about them. But if
Right.
I have a bunch of new boyfriends and I'm constantly like, here's John, here's Adam, here's Tyrone, constantly she sees me with a new guy, that's
Right.
gonna fuck her up in the head because she's gonna think that it could be whatever it is. She could end up being like a little hoe. She can end up, thinking that you supposed, what I'm saying? Like it can give
Yeah.
the
This
wrong
is
impression to
normal.
a
This
kid
is
growing up.
normal.
And then for your son, right? If my son see me with a new dude in and out of his life, he might think that I'm a whore. He might think that women are whores. Like it really affects these kids more than we know when we're just bringing a
Right.
guy
Because they're
in,
going to
to meet
emulate the
them.
relationships that they see. That's the reality. They're going to emulate what they see. And so you want your kids to, yes, see you in a healthy relationship, because they need to learn how to love and be kind and share and all those kind of things with another adult. But at the same time, it's like, I can't just have like this revolving door of people coming through. Like at some point, your kid's not even going to respect you or the person. Like, bro, like you ain't going to be here long.
Yeah, like you won't be here next week.
You won't be here
Have
long. You
fun.
got things on your phone. You gonna buy me
Exactly.
a pair of sneakers, like, you know what I mean? At some point, the kids are gonna be tired of this. You gonna eat
Exactly.
up my snacks, At some
Especially when
point,
they small. Yeah.
they're gonna get to the point where they're just like, like what's going on, and then they
Yeah.
see that and they're impressionable. So I think that's important when we think about dating and having conversations about children,
Yeah.
and
It's a very important. I would say do not, if you go online date or not, that's something you need to talk about right away.
yeah. Okay, what about if a guy has like a lot of children?
Mm. Yeah. You know what? He might be the best man on earth and he might be my person, but I will pass on his ass.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
do it because I don't want to deal with a bunch of kids. Like, and I've done it before. That's why I'm saying this. Like, I had one of my boyfriends. He had twins and he had another daughter. So he already had three, and I had two, and the kids was around the same age. And this is too much. I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. I
And
feel
most
like if
likely,
you
it's
have,
not the same baby mama either.
yeah, see, that's inviting too much drama into my life, and I don't want that. Ideally, your kids don't fucking like me, and then they won't be bothered with me. Like, I'm just here for the daddy, so you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with that. Like, I'm not. I don't have to be a stepmom. They got a mama. Let their mama do what she do. I'm just here to kind of like, I'm here for the daddy. Like, that's all I'm here for.
Yeah.
I'll pick somebody up if you need that, but I'm not trying to do
Mhm.
nobody's job if I don't have to. Like, something happened and I'm with
Yeah.
someone that has kids, yes, I will step in. But I'm
Same.
very well, because I'm so overprotective of my own children, and the fact
Mhm.
that I'm divorced and have a, and like, I know my boundaries when it comes to being a woman. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? And so
Mhm.
I'm very well, I know what is okay for you to do for my kids, and I know what's not. And since I know
Mhm.
that, I know what's okay for me to do for somebody else's
Yes.
children and
Mhm.
what's not. And so I
Mhm.
think sometimes as women, we have to understand, like, just because you're with that man, don't make them your kids. They have a mother. Respect who
Mhm.
she is, respect their relationship with her, respect your boundary. Like, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? If they pull you
Yeah.
in, that's different. But if
Yeah.
they don't pull you in, you better go wait in the car and shut the fuck up, because it don't got nothing, you know what I mean? And let them
Yep.
people do what they need to do for their kid. Now, like I said, if they're pulling you in and they're like, yeah, you could come to the birthday parties. Yeah, you could buy them a gift. Yeah, if that's okay, then that's fine. But I think sometimes
Right.
maybe we should do a show about this, because sometimes like a woman will be with a man and all of a sudden she's with that man and now she's like getting involved in shit that don't
They
concern
ain't
her.
got nothing to do with her. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you went too far, bro. Like, that don't, like, let that, he need to handle his baby mama drama with his baby mama and handle it. If it starts spilling into y'all, then correct it, yes. But
Yeah.
there gotta be some boundaries, because there's certain things that I wouldn't like people to do with my kids. Like, leave my fucking kid. My kids are off limits.
Yeah, my kids don't need no help. Trust me, I'm handling this.
They're off
Okay.
limits. Like, just because you fuck their daddy don't got shit to do with them.
Right. Right.
Stay over there.
Right.
You
Yeah,
understand what I'm saying?
exactly.
Respectfully, though. And vice
Yeah.
versa. When I'm in that situation, I'll do the same thing. I'm gonna go wait in the car and play on my phone until y'all finish doing what y'all need to do. Like, I feel like there has to be, some kind of boundaries when it comes to people with kids, and knowing like when you're dating where you fit in and where you don't
Yeah.
fit, right?
Yeah. And I
Especially if you're
think
not a
women have an
wife.
issue with that. Yeah.
Especially if you're not a wife. If you're a wife, then you still got to shut the fuck up. But
Yeah.
not, it's a little different. You know what I mean?
You have a couple more rights.
Yeah, a couple. I mean, you got a little louder bark, but at the end of the day, they're not your kids.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And when you decide to date someone that has children, you got to understand that.
Yeah.
You just got to understand that they have kids and then they had a relationship before, and this is somebody they got to deal with. And that's it. You take that on or you don't take it on. That's the way.
That's why I have like a more than two baby mamas. I can't do, like, I want two is the questionable whether I'll work with you or not. But three baby mamas, no.
Yo, two baby
I'm not
mamas.
dealing with three bitches.
I had one kid at 17, and then I was married for a while. So I actually do have, I don't call them baby daddies because I had very long relationships and I have an ex-husband. But if you got two baby mamas and you was never married, bro,
Never married.
Okay, first of all, your pull-out game weak. So what?
That's the first problem.
That's the first. That say a lot about you, because if you can't control your dick, you probably can't control nothing else that's going on in your life right now. You understand? So that in itself tells you probably can't handle me. But secondly, you were not married to any of this women. Like, you just out here being responsible. So I don't know.
Poor choice after poor choice.
Yeah. I was in like two, and if I know that story, that's different. Like, I was in two long relationships. So like, you know what I mean? 7 years in one, 14 years in the other. So I've had kids, and my kids
right, and then your kids are split out. So that I could work with. But like I'm talking about the guys that have like a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and then a 12-year-old, and they're just all baby mamas, and nobody was married. So it's like you're doing this right after each other. And a lot of some guys have got kids that are like around the same age, a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old here. Like, no, you need to cool it for a while. You need to go ahead and cool it. We're not doing
the
those.
first thing that crossed my mind is that you out here being mad irresponsible. That's the first thing. Like, your fucking health. Forget the babies. We'll take care of the kids, right? Your health. That now you want to come sleep in my bed and put that in my body.
Right.
Not any other woman think that's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, yo, you just out here playing dick. Like, bro,
me too. You just throwing it around. You don't value it, so I'm not going to.
I'm just not finna die over no dick. It is not that serious.
Never.
I don't have it. Like, it is not that serious. So when I see a man that's out here and you got 4 kids and they all are 15 months apart, like, bro,
there you go, right there. Yes,
I'm 110% turned off. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna be totally honest. I'm 100%. Like, I wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. I don't care what your story is. You ain't slept that many times.
No, not no 15 months back to back. Nah.
No, you got babies back. Now you got chicks fighting over you and all that kind of that messy shit. No, that just tell me you out there acting reckless. You're not finna get me in that. It is not that serious.
I'm cool. Yeah, I'll pass real fast. I sure will.
I think men need to be more conscious about that too. I think we don't have enough conversation about you men being like responsible with their seeds. Cause you act like
Yes.
somebody trap you, my nigga. You need
Okay.
not be in a
I think
situation
when
to
you
get
a willing you're a willing participant, and then like you said, you chose your pullout game this week. She
oh,
gonna
well,
trap
she
you
told
for
me
so
she was
far.
on birth control. I don't give a I'm gonna tell my son.
Why would you trust her?
I'm
If
gonna
that's
tell my
not your
son, I
wife,
don't care what she tells you she's on.
right?
I don't care what she tells you. You gotta protect your own life.
I don't
You
give
gotta
a
protect
damn if
your
you
own
spoon
future.
feed her the birth control pills on the daily. Still,
No,
listen,
yeah,
no.
like
That's
no,
a
I'm
no,
gonna
son.
tell men need to be more proactive about their own lives and their own futures. I'm so big
Mhm.
on that. Like, do not
Mhm.
let some woman tell you she is on birth control, she's taking this, I can't get pregnant, I don't got nothing, I'm not
Oh
with
my
this.
God.
No,
I don't know how
like,
many stories I heard about I can't get pregnant or I'm allergic to condoms. I'm allergic to birth
okay,
control.
then
I'm
that
like,
ain't the
where
woman for
are y'all
you.
find these girls? And I'm not saying that they're not, but like if she does, then you need to be careful with that bitch. If a bitch tell you she has issue with birth control, whatever, you clearly need to be careful, right? Because I've
You
heard
need,
that story multiple times.
like, what, women don't take, they're allergic to birth control?
Yeah. No, they allergic to condoms or birth control, or birth control messes their body up. And indeed it does, I understand. But
Oh,
then
that's
when a woman
pregnancy.
tells you that,
Pregnancy messes your body up. What the fuck is wrong with
that's
you?
what I'm saying. You don't win, right?
What? So you rather put yourself in this situation, the pair of you. You understand what I'm saying? But I do feel like men need to be more like, I'm raising a son. I do not want
Mm-hmm.
my son trapped up in no fucked up shit because some girl was like playing with his life. Like,
Yep.
we not about to do that. Like, it's not that serious. Same way I'm not finna die over no dick. You're not finna fuck up my son life over some pussy. There's mad pussy out here. I don't
Okay.
need this one. But like, both parties need to take care of their life, take care of their
Yeah.
future, take care of what happens to you. And so as a woman, like, okay, birth control doesn't make me feel good. Find one that works for you. Or
Right.
you
It's not
must
so
do
so
and
many
carry
out
your
there.
own
Yeah.
condom.
Yeah. Or if that, then you need to like it cannot be both. You can't be allergic to condom and birth control is messing your body up. So we just can't do anything.
Well,
If
then you
so,
need to
then you
be
know what? Sit
abstinent.
your ass down. Yeah, sit your ass down. You good. That's what that means. You
That's what
good.
that
And
means.
for a
The
dude,
Lord,
leave her where she
the
at.
Lord told you what to do.
Exactly. Exactly.
Sit your ass. You have to sit this shit out.
You
You know
should
what
go
I mean?
ahead and save it for marriage. I don't see why not, right?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
might
that's
as
what
well.
that's what the universe trying to tell you, sis. Like, I don't know, but you
Pretty
can't.
much.
You gotta take control of your life. Like, I'm a big believer in that. If you don't take control of your life, things will just happen in it, and then you're gonna be stuck with whatever happens.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
from the male perspective and from the female perspective, like, because that's also whack too. Like, I got pregnant by accident and I don't even like this dude, so now you're carrying a
I
child
be
that
like, girl, there's only so far accidental
now you're
pregnancy
stuck
can
with this
go.
person for 18 years or 20 years of your life that you don't even fuck with like that. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Like, that don't even make any sense. And accidents happen. I get that. I'm just saying, like, we at an age where we got to be a lot smarter.
You still
When I
need
have
to be mindful of the guy that you land down with. If you're not willing to have a kid with him, if you have to, then maybe you shouldn't lay down with him in the first place.
I feel like when I was 17 and 18 years old and didn't know any better, it was one thing. I feel like once you get to
Yeah.
28, 30,
Mm-hmm.
you got a little bit
You
more
can't be
sense
in
in
your
you.
30s saying that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? When I was a teenager, I didn't know no better. I thought I love him all day. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
you
that.
don't know. It's puppy
Yeah,
love.
yeah. I feel like, all right, I'll let you live. But once you
Mm-hmm.
start getting 30, 28, 29, 30, 32, 35, like, come on now. Come on now. You know
Right.
what to do and you know what not to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as a man, you have to decide what you want. And as a
Right.
woman, you have to decide what you want. And if this is not somebody that you want to have this type of relationship with, then you need to protect yourself and be responsible to not have that relationship with them.
Right.
It's just
Right.
that simple. And there's a lot of men who will sleep with women and be like, yeah, she mad cool. I don't mind chilling with her, but I wouldn't marry her and I wouldn't have kids with her. Keep
Yep.
that same energy then.
Yep.
It's the same thing. You just got to keep that same energy. Like, oh, she mad cool people. Okay. But she's not somebody I have kids with. Okay. Well, then if you know that, then what are you going to do to avoid that situation from happening? Because you can't say that and then be up in her crib, up in the house, raw dogging it all the time.
Right. Yes, right. Right. Exactly. If that's not a woman that you could see, because there's so many guys out here who can't stand their baby mama, can't stand their baby daddy, but it's like you obviously did never like that person that much in the first place, or you wouldn't have that
Right.
type of hateful relationship with them. So why are you laying down with people who you don't even like that much?
And then continue to do it. Some of them
Right.
continue
Oh
to do
yeah. Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah. Over and over.
Whoa. Yeah, I don't understand that. But yes, tell us about your show. We're gonna go soon, because we're almost at an hour. Tell us about your show and what we can expect on Coffee with Kendra.
Okay, so Coffee with Kendra is very fun. It's spontaneous. I might have a pod about whatever it is that I think about, and then I have special guests on, and it's relationship based, I guess. I didn't really want it to be that way, but it turns out I have a lot to say about relationships and dating. So you'll get a mouthful of that. It's humorous. I like to laugh. I like to laugh and have a good time, but I also want to, I kind of want to use my platform to kind of build women up and kind of like let them know, look, we need to have our standards. It's okay, we're worth this. When we set the bar high, they have to meet us there. They can't have us. So
Right.
I really want to spend a lot of time on that, and then overall growth as a person. So like I want people to be able to come to my pod and be open to hopefully learning something or relating to me in some way.
Yeah, definitely. And I think people need that. I think they need to feel like they're not the only one that had some of these experiences or
Hmm.
are faced with some of these difficulties. Because a lot of times we don't talk about things because we feel like, no, I'm the only one that had this, or this only, kind of almost
Yeah.
embarrassed sometimes or ashamed sometimes, when in
Yeah.
reality, it's like, nah, this happens all the time. We all feeling this,
Yeah.
or
Exactly.
like you said, walking away, taking away something from it where you're like, okay, I need to. So today I'm like, all right, so I need to have a list. Damn, I ain't have no list
I can
together.
hook you up with the list.
I need to have a list because I don't really, I never really thought about that. But, so maybe I got to put a list together and be like, okay, these are the things that, I need to talk about ahead of time. So I always feel
Yeah.
like when I talk to people, I learn something. And when I listen, I
Yeah.
learn something. And that's the beauty of the work that we do. So thank you so much, Kendra, for being here. Where can everybody find you?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm flattered. I'm flattered. I'm excited to be a guest again after starting my own podcast. I really appreciate just coming through. Like, yeah, 4 o'clock. Okay, cool. I'll be there, and there's nothing else involved for me. So I love
Nah,
that.
you got
You
it.
guys can find me on Instagram. At Coffee with Kendra, spelled correctly, just like it's on the screen. Coffee with Kendra. And then on all major platforms: Spotify, Apple, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Coffee with Kendra. I think I'm on everything at this point,
Yeah.
including YouTube. I do release a
Yeah.
visual version, yeah, on YouTube for people who like to watch.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, everybody. Check out Coffee with Kendra, for just like your girlfriend check-in. I love it. Congratulations, Kendra. I see what you're doing. I appreciate the work. We are spotlighting you. And I'll
Thank
be
you.
following. I'll be in the back clapping. So I definitely will be following. Thank you so much for sharing the hot seat with me.
Thank you. I appreciate you today.